If you're trying to buy near Red Deer without overpaying, these are the 5 towns I'd actually consider in 2026. And I want to save you from a mistake I see all the time. People go online, search affordable towns near Red Deer, pick something that looks good on paper, and then realize after the move that that lifestyle doesn't match what they thought they were buying. Because most of those lists, they're written by people who don't actually live here. So they miss things like what the community really feels like, which towns are growing, which ones are stalling, and where buyers are quietly regretting their decision. And here's what's interesting. On this list, one town is cheaper than most people expected. One gives you way more lifestyle than the price suggests, and one is growing fast enough that waiting could cost you. I'm Pat Garritty, 25 years in Central Alberta real estate, over $1 billion in sales with our real estate team. And I've lived in one of these towns on this list since 1976. So instead of just giving you a list, I'm going to help you answer the real questions. Which of these towns actually fits your life? Let's start with the one that completely changes how people think about affordable. Quick note before we dive in, if you want a specific deep dive on Sylvan Lake specificity, I have a full video breakdown on that one. The link is in the description. For now, let's start with the town that's growing faster than any of them. Number 1, Blackfalds. Most buyers think if I go cheaper, I'm sacrificing quality. Blackfalds is where that belief starts to fall apart. The median sale price in Blackfalds right now is $390,000. But here's what matters more than the price. At $390,000, you're getting into homes that feel newer, cleaner, more put together. And that matters more than people realize. Because when buyers say, hey, they want affordable, what they really mean is, I don't want to consistently fix stuff. All right. I want something that's not going to be a pain in the butt. I see a lot of first-time buyers come through Blackfalds, and what they're really buying isn't just a house. They're buying peace of mind, fewer renovations, fewer surprises, less stress in the first 2 to 3 years. That's huge. You're also about 15 minutes from Red Deer, which means you're still connected to everything you need. For a Calgary buyer looking at a $700,000 or $800,000 just to get you something with a yard, this is a completely different conversation. But here's where people get tripped up. And Blackfalds is efficient, but it's not that deep. And what I mean by that is fewer unique local spots, less walkable culture, less of that this place has a story feeling. You're trading character for value. And right now, that trade is one of the best in the province. So the real decision becomes, do you want easy living or do you want rich living? Because Blackfalds leans heavily towards easy. And for a lot of buyers, that's exactly what they need. But if you're someone who cares more about where you are than just what you bought, this next town hits it very differently. Number 2, Lacombe. Lacombe is where the conversation shifts from price to identity. The median sale price in Lacombe is about $418,000, a little higher than Blackfalds because the demand is steady and the inventory is more diverse. But it doesn't feel like a budget town. It feels intentional. When you drive through Lacombe, you notice things. Mature trees, historic buildings from the early 1900s, a Flatiron building, local cafes, Burman University right connected to town. There's a culture here you don't find in newer towns. It is something most newer towns don't, a sense of place. I've had buyers walk through Lacombe for the first time, and within 10 minutes, they say, you know what, this just feels different. Not because it's better on paper, but because it feels like somewhere you'd stay long term. You'll find character homes starting in the mid 300s, newer single family in the 4 to 500s, acreages just outside of town if you want a bit more room. But here's the reality most people don't talk about. Character comes with a cost, and not all of it is up front. Older homes can mean more maintenance, more variability, and sometimes unexpected expenses. So instead of asking, can I afford Lacombe? The better question is, am I comfortable owning something with history? Because the answer is yes, Lacombe can be one of the most rewarding choices on this list. Now, what if you don't care about charm as much as you just want something that fits your life logistically? This next town is where things get practical. Number 3, Penhold. Penhold is one of those towns that doesn't try to impress you, and that's exactly why it works. Now, here's what's interesting about Penhold. It's a smaller market, but almost everything selling here right now is new construction. You're buying newer product at a price that still undercuts Red Deer, and you're 10 minutes from the south end of the city where most of the new commercial growth is happening. But price isn't the real advantage here. Positioning is. You're minutes from Red Deer, close to Highway 2, and incredibly efficient for commuting, even to Red Deer Polytechnic. If your life looks like driving, running errands in Red Deer, being on the move, Penhold simplifies everything. And that's something, a lot of buyers underestimate because they focus on the house and they forget how much of their daily routine matters. Over time, convenience compounds, saving 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. That ups to hours every week. And from what I've seen over 25 years, that changes quality of life more than people can expect. But here's the trade-off. Penhold is not trying to be a destination. It's quiet, functional, straightforward. The amenities are growing, but they're not Red Deer or Lacombe yet. So the question becomes, do you want your town to be the experience or base that supports your life? Because Penhold is the base, and you're betting on where the town is going, not just where it is today. Now, up to this point, we've been balancing trade-offs. But this next town, this is where smart buyers start to lean in. Number 4, Innisfail. This is one I tell people to look at twice because most buyers don't fully understand the first time. The median sale price in Innisfail is $370,000. That's the lowest on this list. $20,000 less than Blackfalds, $45,000 less than Sylvan Lake. Focusing only on price misses the bigger opportunity. This is a positioning play. You're about 25 minutes south of Red Deer, right on the QE2, between Red Deer and Calgary access, in a location that's far more connected than people assume. In real estate, there are 2 ways to win. Buy something everyone already wants or buy something people will want. Innisfail sits closer to that second category. You can still find single-family homes starting in the low 300s, acreages on the edge of town in the 5s to 6s, depending on the land. For a buyer coming out of Calgary, that land could not touch the triple the money, in the city. But here's what people hesitate: perception. It doesn't have the same reputation as Sylvan Lake. It doesn't feel as polished as Blackfalds. And for some reason, that's enough to pass. But that gap between perception and reality, that's where the value lives. And the buyers who recognize that early are usually the ones happiest with their decision later. The trade-off is the commute. 25 minutes to Red Deer is real. In winter, longer Innisfail rewards, who values land, values peace, and all those other things over proximity. Now, if Innisfail is the value play, the last town is completely different. Number 5 is Sylvan Lake. Sylvan Lake is where affordability meets experience. I want to be honest with you. I almost didn't put Sylvan Lake on this list because most people hear Sylvan Lake and they think lakefront, they think high prices, they think super busy and, all those kind of things. But that's the misconception. The median sale price in Sylvan Lake is $415,000. And that range goes from $110,000 all the way up to $1.75 million. That's a massive price range, is the point. Most people look at, lakefront prices or something close to the lake and they write Sylvan off. But the median is $415,000. That's basically the same as Lacombe. You're paying Lacombe prices with the lake right in your backyard. Sylvan Lake is a town that has about 17,000 year-round residents, new subdivisions, Riders Ridge, Lakeway Landing, other neighborhoods that have nothing to do with lakefront pricing. And Alberta Education just announced 2 new schools, including a long overdue high school. This isn't just a place to live, it's a place to live differently. Now, I've lived in Sylvan Lake since I was a kid. I've watched this town grow from a sleepy little summer village to a year-round community of 17,000 people. I've seen buyers justify Sylvan Lake not because it's cheaper, but because it makes their day-to-day life better. And that's a different kind of ROI. But here's the trade-off. You're paying for that experience. And during peak season, yeah, it can get busy down towards the lake. But the real question becomes, do you want calm or do you want energy? Because Sylvan Lake gives you energy and everything that comes with it. And I'll tell you the truth, most agents won't. The lakefront gets all the headlines, but the real value in Sylvan Lake right now is off the lake. Now, comparing 5 towns in this video is one thing. Actually comparing them side by side when you're trying to make a decision, that's where it gets hard. So we've built something to make it easier. It's called the Central Alberta Town Comparison Guide. Average prices for each of these towns, demographics, school options, commute times, tax rates, everything you need to compare apples to apples on one page. If you want it, just text me 587-815-5152 and say the word guide and I'll send it to you. No cost, no pressure. So here's the truth. There is no best town near Red Deer. There's only one that aligns with how you want to live, what you value, and what the trade-offs you're willing to accept. Blackfalds, simplicity, Lacombe, character, Penhold, efficiency, Innisfail, value, Sylvan Lake, lifestyle. And the mistake I see over and over again is people choose based on price and price alone instead of choosing based on how they actually want to live. The goal isn't just finding something affordable. It's making sure you don't buy the right price or the right price in the wrong place. If you're trying to figure out which town fits your life, that's literally what we do. Reach out anytime, 587-815-5152, or grab the comparison guide and start there. Remember, I'm Pat Garritty with the Trilliant Real Estate Group. Please be better every day.